Good morning. I have not podcasted a little bit. Well, I have. I've been podcasting on YouTube and using my Zoom, and I don't know how to upload my Zooms on my TikTok. And so I'm going to go ahead and I am going to do the reading from here. Now, one of the things that I want to talk about is that we have been in this great big transit with Mars in Gemini. And in March, that will be discontinued. It will be moving forward, and this is for a planet to spend 8 months in one house that is a 2-year around the zodiac. Is a very unusual transit. And so many of us have been feeling the energy, or energies, if you will, of Mars. And Mars is interesting in that, like I said, every 2 years your Mars cycle changes. And mine changed this year. And obviously, a lot of things have changed for me in a very short amount of time. In that right now, I'm really going through a big change in my family status. So, you know, and I think this is going to be real typical of a lot of people, in that if you are working and in this sense and your partner chooses not to work, you're going to find differences that are just too great to overcome. And so it is kind of typical of the times that we're in. So first and foremost, don't feel alone in this, because you are not. And there are plenty of us that are going through this very thing, okay? And as we go into Aquarius, now we will be stepping out of the energy of Capricorn, heading into the sign of Aquarius, with Pluto shortly behind, where we're really going to start seeing a change in the air, if you will, how we interact in groups. And several things are coming on that level, that the eclipses that we have are getting ready to dial in and again kind of remind us of what matters. And so it's going to go from Taurus, Scorpio, Scorpio, Taurus to Libra, Aries, Aries, Libra, and it goes back and forth. Each time it's one, and then 2 weeks later it's the other. So unless there's some other unusual configuration happening, that's generally how this is. So I'm giving you a general truth, and there are other truths as well, but we are not here today for that. So I have been seeing kind of an energy where the air itself is going to change. And what does that mean exactly? Where I'm going to use the Cosmic Tarot, and I'm just going to go ahead and ask the cards to help us understand the up and coming energy as we move into November, and what we're going to be seeing. November, Spirit. Queen of Wands. It's going to be fiery in some ways. We are going to know some energy this way. It's kind of hot and and actionable. This could mean that the volcanoes burp and smell a good deal. I think we will see a huge association with air. And I find it fascinating how many volcanoes throughout the planet right now are actually talking to us and saying things are a bit too hot. But as long as we don't recognize the planet as having some human, or not human, but spiritual reasoning, like maybe the earth would be the queen of fire, or Queen of Wands, if you will, because, you know, the earth, you know, is certainly able to take action, and the earth may very well take action. So that would be something I would be considering in February. Okay, so what is the next card? And the next card is the moon. That pretty much that we have come to a place where we have to be accountable. We have to answer to what matters. And see, I'm trying to remember what our last new moon is. Oh, it was in Aquarius. That's right. Okay, so, you know, it kind of is referring back to this. And I'm trying to think what our next full moon is. I know it's up and coming, and I don't have my ephemeris, so I don't like to give dates if I'm really not too sure, but I think it's going to be here coming up in the first week of January that we have the new full moon. So here we are. We've got the moon, where a lot of us, if you can look at this card, you can see that a lot of us have been practicing in some ways being hardened and not necessarily feeling the liquid raindrops from the moon reminding us of our subconscious, or the many issues that we have yet to really face. There are issues incoming, and that we're going to feel the power of the liquidness of this and the wateriness of it all. And it looks as if, in some ways, this card with these two fish, like our psychic abilities are kind of coming up on some level. And I kind of think that's true. I know that for myself, that I have several different ways that I'm psychic in some capacity, but some other things are really starting to come to me. Like when I go to sleep at night, I'm in a medical astrology program. And what I find is things that are complex to me and difficult to work out, I'm able to work out somehow in my sleep. Why we as astrologers don't practice medical astrology is very complicated. It is not something that every astrologer wants to do. I myself am quite well geared for it, because I often get the subconscious story quite well. And then the final card in this pull, the Cosmic Tarot, is the Five of Pentacles. We're going to have some financial trouble as well. And I've talked about this in other readings. There's been plenty of readings where I've pointed out that it feels like we're coming to a time where perhaps the government isn't going to be able to keep up financially, and they're not necessarily telling us this. And there's going to come a point where we just don't have enough resources for the people. The quality of the air isn't good. And people are more or less walking randomly down the street in a state of war-torn affairs. So am I saying we're going to have a war? No, I don't think so. I really think this is more of a war of the people themselves on the ground getting their needs met, and it might just become difficult for the needs for the average person to have their needs met. So I really don't know, but I know this, that what we are beginning to experience in this way spiritually is a recognition that this dark energy has surrounded us so heavily. And so with that, please do consider booking a reading. I am providing, myself and my co-reader Maha from Maha's Treasure Box we are co-combined as a team, and we are providing readings, medical readings. And so I would very much consider us for a monthly forecast for $50. It is a great value. It can tell you what we need to know. And if you have a month in the year where your medical issues seem a bit more high end on an annual basis, then please do include that in your request, because that'll help me and myself and Farnoosh, or Maha's Treasure Box, a good deal dialing in what it is that we are going to need to deal with in your chart. And so with that, please do consider sharing, and subscribing, and liking me over on my YouTube channel, and leaving comments so that we grow. And yes, I do monitor my comments, not because I want anybody's comments to be removed, but if you're going to come on there and say silly stuff, then it just won't ever make it to the page. So don't feel shy and like, oh my God, she's not going to put my comment through. Yes, I put them all through, except for if there's something that is really inappropriate on the site. So that's the only reason that's there. And with that, I thank you so much for joining me here.